Aubrey's hand trembled as she reached for the door handle of the sleek Manhattan high-rise. The kind of building that screamed old money mixed with new ambition. She had prepared for this corporate wellness gig for weeks. But nothing could have braced her for the storm waiting inside. The elevator doors slid open on the executive floor. And there it was? A voice like cracked ice slicing through the air. "You think you can waltz in here with excuses and keep your job? Pack your things now." The words belonged to Addison Hale, CEO of Hale Dynamics. Her silhouette framed against floor-to-ceiling windows that overlooked the glittering chaos of Times Square below. She was mid-40s in vibe if not in years. All sharp angles and unyielding poise. Her blonde hair pulled into a severe bun that matched the fury in her blue eyes. The executive she was berating, a middle-aged man in a rumpled suit, shrank back, his face paling as if the oxygen had been sucked from the room. Aubrey froze in the doorway, her leather portfolio clutched like a shield. She was here to launch the company's new health initiative, not witness a firing squad. But before she could slip away unnoticed, Addison's gaze snapped to her, those eyes narrowing like searchlights. "And you are?" The man bolted past Aubrey, mumbling apologies to no one, leaving the air thick with the scent of desperation and expensive cologne. Aubrey straightened, forcing her voice steady despite the knot in her stomach. "Aubrey Ellis. Your new nutrition consultant. We had a meeting scheduled for 10. Addison's lips pressed into a thin line. And for a split second, something flickered across her face. Exhaustion maybe. Or regret. She waved a hand dismissively toward the conference table, piled high with untouched pastries and cooling coffee urns. "Sit. Make it quick. I have a board call in 15. Aubrey moved to the table, her heels clicking softly on the marble floor. Each step a reminder that she was out of her element. Back in her small Brooklyn apartment, surrounded by cookbooks and herb pots on the windowsill, she thrived on turning kale into magic and advising stressed-out moms on meal preps. But here, in the belly of corporate America, where deals were sealed over steak and scotch, her world of quinoa bowls felt like a whisper against a roar. She slid into the chair opposite Addison, opening her portfolio with deliberate calm. "Ms. Hale. The data shows your team's burnout rates are through the roof. Late nights. Skipped meals. It's a recipe for collapse. My plan integrates simple changes. Starting with you as the example." Addison leaned back, crossing her arms, the fabric of her tailored blazer straining slightly over shoulders that carried the weight of a billion-dollar empire. "An example? I build empires. Ms. Ellis. I don't need sermons on smoothies." Aubrey met her gaze, unflinching, though her pulse quickened at the intensity there. Like staring into a storm cloud ready to break. Empires crumble on empty stomachs. "Humor me. 1 week. Track your intake. And I'll cook for you personally if it means you'll eat something green." A ghost of a smile tugged at Addison's mouth, gone before it could settle. "Cook for me. Bold. Fine. 1 week. But if I hate it, you're gone." The meeting dragged into the afternoon, Addison firing questions like bullets, her mind a whirlwind of projections and pivots. Aubrey parried with facts and empathy, sketching meal plans on a napkin between sips of lukewarm coffee. By 5, the sun dipped low, painting the office in hues of amber and shadow. And still they talked, the initial frost thawing into something almost collaborative. "You remind me of someone," Addison said suddenly, as Aubrey packed her notes. Her voice had softened, the edges filed down by fatigue. She rubbed her temples, a rare crack in the armor. Aubrey paused, zipping her bag slowly. "Who?" "My sister. Always pushing me to slow down. She was the soft one. Died young. Cancer. Said I worked too hard." Addison's words hung there, heavy, unexpected. She stood abruptly, turning to the window, her reflection a ghost against the city lights flickering to life. Aubrey's chest tightened, words failing her for a moment. She rose, stepping closer but not too close. I'm sorry. That's. I can't imagine. Addison turned. Her eyes distant. Then sharpening. Don't be. It made me who I am. Now go home. MS. Ellis. Before I drag you into overtime. Aubrey nodded. Slipping out into the hallway where the hum of fluorescent lights felt grounding. But as the elevator descended, her mind replayed that vulnerability. The way Addison's voice had cracked on her sister's name. It was just a job, she told herself. Stepping into the crisp November air of Midtown. Just a client. Yet something stirred. A quiet pull. Like the first note of a song she didn't know she needed to hear. The next morning, Aubrey arrived at the office with an insulated bag of provisions. Her hair tied back in a loose ponytail. Freckles standing out against skin still flushed from the subway rush. The receptionist waved her up. And she found Addison in a smaller boardroom. Surrounded by executives droning through quarterly reports. Addison looked up. Her expression unreadable. And gestured her to an empty chair. Join us, she said. Voice neutral. See what real work looks like. Aubrey sat. Unpacking a small container of overnight oats topped with berries and nuts as the slides clicked by. Numbers blurring into red and black. She ate quietly. Aware of Addison's occasional glances. The way her fingers drummed the table edge. Halfway through. Addison's stomach growled audibly. Drawing a few smirks from the suits. She shot them a glare that could curdle milk. Then reached for Aubrey's container without asking. Sweet, Addison muttered after a bite. Handing it back half empty. Too sweet. Aubrey suppressed a smile. Baby steps. The meeting ended. And Addison lingered. Waving off her team. Walk with me. They strolled the executive floor. Past glass-walled offices buzzing with calls. The scent of fresh flowers from a side table cutting through the staleness. Addison moved like she owned the air itself. But Aubrey noticed the slight limp. The way she favored her left side after hours on heels. Tell me about you, Addison said. Pausing at a window overlooking Central Park. The trees bear skeletons against the gray sky. Why nutrition? Some tree-hugging phase? Aubrey laughed softly. Leaning on the sill. Not quite. Grew up in Ohio. Farm country. Mom was a nurse. Saw too many patients wrecked by bad habits. I wanted to fix that. One plate at a time. Moved to New York 5 years ago. Chasing dreams and decent bagels. Addison nodded. Her gaze lingering on Aubrey's face a beat too long. Ohio. Wholesome. I like it. I'm from Boston originally. But this city's claws dig deep. Hard to leave. They talked then. Really talked. About the grind of ambition. The loneliness of peaks. Aubrey shared a story of her first failed relationship. A woman who couldn't handle her long hours at the community clinic. Addison listened. Her sighs punctuating the pauses. Each one a release of something bottled too long. By noon, Aubrey had mapped out a week's menu. And Addison agreed to try it. Albeit with grumbles. But as Aubrey left for her next client, a text buzzed her phone. Dinner tonight. My office. 7. Don't be late. It was from Addison. Curt but insistent. Aubrey stared at the screen in the elevator. Her heart skipping. Overtime already. And something told her it wouldn't stop there. That evening, the office transformed under the glow of desk lamps. The city a tapestry of lights beyond the glass. Aubrey arrived with a canvas tote bulging with ingredients. Her sleeves rolled up. Ready to commandeer the executive kitchenette. Addison was there. Tie loosened. Sleeves cuffed. Poring over emails on her laptop. You actually came, Addison said. Not looking up. But a hint of surprise colored her tone. Promised I'd cook. Salmon with quinoa and asparagus. Light. But satisfying. Addison closed her laptop with a snap. Standing to help unpack. Their hands brushed over a lemon. A spark jumping despite the cool tile counter. Aubrey pulled back first. Busying herself with chopping. the rhythmic thwack grounding her. They worked in companionable silence at first. Addison handing tools without being asked. Her movements efficient. Then, as the fish sizzled, she poured 2 glasses of white wine from a hidden mini fridge. To survival, she toasted. Clinking glasses. Aubrey sipped. The crispness cutting through nerves. To balance. Dinner unfolded at the conference table. Plates steaming. Forks scraping softly. Addison ate with focus, nodding approval between bites. This is good. Better than my usual takeout. High praise, Aubrey teased. Her foot accidentally nudging Addison's under the table. Neither moved away. Conversation flowed like the wine, dipping into personal waters. Addison spoke of her rise. The boardroom battles that left scars invisible but deep. I thought success would fill the empty spaces. It doesn't. Aubrey reached across, her hand covering Addison's briefly. Warm skin on cool. It can. With the right ingredients. Addison's breath hitched. Her eyes locking on Aubrey's. The air thickened. Charged. The distant hum of traffic fading. For a moment, the world narrowed to that touch. That gaze. Then Addison pulled back. Standing abruptly. Late. I have calls. Aubrey nodded. Packing up. The moment slipping away like smoke. But as she rode the subway home, the city blurring past, she felt it. The heat building. Slow and inevitable. Days blurred into a rhythm. Aubrey's mornings filled with client sessions in airy midtown studios. Afternoons prepping for Addison's world. Evenings became their domain. The office a cocoon where barriers eroded bite by bite. One Thursday. Rain lashed the windows. Thunder rumbling like distant applause. Aubrey arrived soaked. Shaking droplets from her coat. To find Addison pacing. Phone pressed to ear. Voice low and urgent. No. We pivot now or lose the quarter. She hung up. Slumping into a chair. Face drawn. Bad day. Aubrey set down her bag. Moving to the kitchenette without a word. Soon. The scent of ginger tea filled the space. Steam curling like secrets. She handed Addison a mug. Their fingers lingering this time. Sit, Aubrey said softly. Breathe. Addison obeyed. Sipping. Her shoulders easing. How do you do that? Make chaos feel manageable? Practice, Aubrey replied. Settling beside her. And knowing when to let go. Their knees touched. And neither shifted. Addison set the mug down. Turning. Her hand rising to tuck a damp strand of hair behind Aubrey's ear. The gesture was tender. Exploratory. Sending warmth pooling low in Aubrey's belly. I've been thinking, Addison murmured. Her thumb brushing Aubrey's cheek. About you. Us. Aubrey's heart pounded. Words tangling. Me too. The kiss came slow. Tentative. Addison's lips soft against hers. Tasting of tea and restraint. Aubrey leaned in. Deepening it. Hands finding Addison's waist. Pulling her closer. Heat bloomed. Urgent. The rain a symphony outside. They broke apart gasping. Foreheads pressed. This is dangerous, Addison whispered. But her arms stayed wrapped around Aubrey. Worth it, Aubrey breathed. They didn't stop there. The office forgotten as they moved to the leather couch and Addison's private lounge. Clothes shedding like old skins. Touches explored. Sighs mingling with the storm. Bodies arching in discovery. Addison's confidence gave way to vulnerability. Her moans soft pleas. While Aubrey's empathy turned to fire. Guiding. Giving. Afterward. Tangled and discarded jackets. They lay quiet. Rain pattering. Addison traced patterns on Aubrey's arm. Stay. Aubrey did. Until dawn crept in. Painting them in gold. But as they dressed. Reality intruded. Emails pinging like alarms. This can't leak, Addison said. Buttoning her blouse. Eyes shadowed. The board. I know, Aubrey replied. zipping her jeans. "We'll be careful." Yet careful felt like chains. Even as the heat lingered. A promise of more. Weeks passed in a haze of stolen moments. The office, their secret garden amid the concrete jungle. Aubrey's days split between her growing roster of corporate clients and the pull of Addison's orbit. Each late night a risk wrapped in desire. They mapped boundaries. Rules whispered in the dark, no public touches. No overnights at Addison's penthouse overlooking the Hudson. Nothing that could unravel the fragile balance. But balance was a myth. Aubrey felt it fraying during a team lunch in the company cafeteria. A vast space of chrome and chatter on the lower floors. She sat with the wellness group, picking at a salad, when Addison entered, flanked by VPs. Her presence commanding silence, then buzz. Their eyes met across the room. A jolt like live wire. And Aubrey looked away first. Cheeks warming. "Ms. Ellis," one VP called, waving her over. "Join us. Tell the boss lady about that energy boost program." Aubrey rose, plate in hand, weaving through tables. Addison's gaze followed. Subtle but searing. "It's about micro habits," Aubrey began, voice steady as she sat at the edge of their circle. 10-minute walks. Hydration reminders. Small wins compound. Addison nodded. Fork pausing midair. "Intriguing. Demonstrate after this." The group dispersed. And Aubrey followed Addison to her office. The door clicking shut like a vow. "Demonstrate how?" Aubrey asked. Leaning against the desk. Arms crossed to hide the tremor. Addison stepped close. Crowding her space. Breath warm on Aubrey's neck. "Like this." Her hand slid to Aubrey's hips. Pulling her flush. Lips claiming in a kiss that tasted of power and need. Aubrey melted. Fingers threading through Addison's hair. Loosening the bun until blonde strands cascaded free. They tumbled onto the desk. Papers scattering like leaves. Addison's blazer hitting the floor with a soft thud. Aubrey's blouse followed. Buttons straining then giving. Exposing skin flushed and eager. Addison's mouth trailed fire down her collarbone. Eliciting gasps that echoed off the walls. "God. Aubrey," she murmured against her breast. Voice husky. "You undo me." Aubrey arched. Legs wrapping Addison's waist. Guiding her lower. Pleasure built in waves. Crashing as Addison's fingers delved. Expert and insistent. Drawing out cries muffled against shoulders. Release came shuddering. Leaving them slick and spent. Aubrey's nails digging crescents into Addison's back. They lingered. Breath sinking. Until the intercom buzzed. Addison cursed softly. Straightening clothes with haste. 5 minutes, she barked into the speaker. Then turned to Aubrey. Eyes soft. "Go out the side. I'll cover." Aubrey nodded. Slipping away. Heart racing from more than exertion. In the hallway. She smoothed her hair. The ghost of Addison's touch lingering like perfume. That night? Alone in her apartment. Aubrey paced the worn hardwood. City sounds filtering through thin walls. Doubt crept in. Cold and insistent. Was this love or just convenience? A balm for Addison's stress? She texted a friend. Lena. A barista with a no-nonsense streak. Seeing someone. Intense. Scary. Lena's reply pinged quick. Good scary or bad? Spill. Aubrey typed. Deleted. Typed again. Both. She's everything. And nothing I planned. The weekend brought a reprieve. Or so Aubrey thought. She escaped to Central Park. Jogging paths slick with fallen leaves. Earbuds blasting indie folk to drown thoughts. But midway through. Her phone vibrated. Addison's name flashing. Conference in Chicago. Tomorrow. Come with me. As my consultant. Aubrey slowed. Breath puffing white in the chill air. Professional cover? Partly. Mostly. I want you there. She sighed. Leaning against a lamppost. The park alive with joggers and dog walkers oblivious to her turmoil. Okay. But we talk. Really talk. The flight to O'Hare was turbulence-free. But inside, Aubrey churned. Seated in first class, Addison across the aisle. They feigned work. Laptops open. But stolen glances spoke volumes. At the hotel, a gleaming tower on Michigan Avenue. Check-in separated them. Professional suites on adjacent floors. That evening, the conference kicked off in a ballroom dripping chandeliers. Suits mingling over hors d'oeuvres. Addison shone. Keynoting on innovation. Her voice commanding applause. Aubrey watched from the wings. Pride swelling alongside ache. During a break, Addison found her at the bar. Nursing sparkling water. You were brilliant, Aubrey said. Clinking glasses. Addison's smile was private. Just for her. Needed my good luck charm. Upstairs. In Addison's suite. The city sprawled glittering below. They shed pretenses. Wine glasses forgotten on the nightstand. They explored slower this time. Mapping scars and size. Addison's fingers traced the faint stretch marks on Aubrey's hips from a youthful dance phase. Kissing each with reverence. Beautiful, she whispered. Voice breaking. Aubrey reciprocated. Peeling away Addison's armor layer by layer. Finding the woman beneath the title. Their joining was unhurried. Bodies syncing in rhythm. Climaxes shared in quiet intensity. Tears mingling on pillows after. Lying tangled. Addison spoke into the dark. I haven't let anyone in since Elena. My ex. She left when the hours got too long. Said I loved the company more. Aubrey stroked her hair. Heart clenching. You deserve both. Love doesn't subtract. But it does, Addison replied. Voice small. For you? Maybe it adds. For me? It's always a trade. They fell asleep to the lake wind howling. But dawn brought clarity's edge. Over room service eggs. Addison's phone exploded with crises. Pulling her into calls. Aubrey dressed quietly. The space between them widening. The conference dragged. Panels on sustainability blurring as Aubrey networked. Her mind elsewhere. Lunch with a fellow consultant. A bubbly type from Seattle. Offered distraction. So. Hail dynamics. Intense vibe. You surviving? Aubrey smiled tightly. Learning the ropes. By evening, exhaustion etched Addison's face. And their stolen hour in a quiet lounge turned tense. I can't do halfway, Aubrey said. Hands clasped tight. This heat. It's consuming. But I need all of you. Addison's jaw set. I'm trying. The merger's closing soon. After. Aubrey stood. Chair scraping. After never comes. I get it. She walked out. Heels echoing. Leaving Addison staring at her wine. Back in her room. Aubrey curled on the bed. Tears hot. The city lights mocked her. Vast and indifferent. She booked an earlier flight. Texting Addison. Heading home. Take care. The plane touched down in LaGuardia under stormy skies. Rain sheeting the windows. Aubrey hailed a cab. The driver chatting about traffic. But she barely heard. Lost in replay. Home was quiet. Plants thirsting on the sill. A half-finished puzzle on the table mocking her fractured state. Days stretched. Aubrey diving into work. Leading a workshop in a Soho loft. Teaching stressed creatives about gut health. Laughter helped. But nights brought dreams of blue eyes and soft sighs. She ignored Addison's texts at first. Then relented to one. Coffee? Neutral ground. They met at a corner cafe in the village. Steam rising from mugs. The scent of fresh scones cloying. Addison looked wrecked. Dark circles under eyes. Hair unkempt. I miss you, she said simply. No preamble. Aubrey stirred her latte. Foam swirling. I miss us. But the secrecy. It's poison. Addison reached across. Hand hovering. The merger's tomorrow. If it lands, I can delegate. Step back. Hope flickered. Fragile. Promise? Addison nodded. Eyes earnest. Come to the closing party. Penthouse. Tonight. Aubrey hesitated. Then squeezed her hand. Okay. The penthouse pulsed with jazz and clinking glasses. Hudson views framing the elite. Addison moved through. Magnetic. But her eyes sought Aubrey's across the crowd. When they collided in a shadowed alcove. The kiss was desperate. Hands fisting silk. Upstairs, Addison breathed. Now. In the master suite. Overlooking the dark river. They stripped bare. Urgency giving way to worship. Aubrey knelt. Mouth tracing Addison's thighs. Drawing gasps that built to please. Addison reciprocated on silk sheets. Tongue skilled. Fingers curling until Aubrey shattered. Name a chant. Spent. They held each other. Truth spilling. Addison confessed fears of failure. The empire built on her sister's memory. Aubrey shared her own ghosts. A mother lost to illness. Fueling her healer's heart. As rain tapped the glass. Addison whispered. Stay. Build with me. Aubrey's sigh was release. Yes. But dawn brought a call. Boardroom drama. Pulling Addison away. Aubrey dressed alone. Resolve hardening. This time? She wouldn't wait. The merger sealed with fanfare. Headlines blaring Hail Dynamics expansion into green tech. A nod to the wellness wave Aubrey had seeded. But victory tasted bittersweet. Addison buried in fallout. Strategy sessions bleeding into nights. Aubrey threw herself into a side project. Partnering with a non-profit in Harlem for community gardens. Dirt under nails a balm for her soul. They met sporadically. Lunches in hidden bistros off Wall Street. Where Addison's hand would find Aubrey's under the table. Thumb stroking reassurance. Soon, she'd say. Eyes promising. Aubrey believed. But doubt whispered louder with each cancelled evening. One crisp Saturday. Aubrey escaped to the High Line. The elevated park a ribbon of green amid steel. She walked the paths. Leaves crunching. Sketching garden ideas in a notebook. Her phone buzzed. Not Addison. But Lena. Girls' night? You look like you need wine and whining. Aubrey laughed into the wind. Yes. Desperately. The bar in East Village thrummed with laughter. Fairy lights twinkling over worn booths. Lena hugged her tight. Then pulled back. Eyeing. Spill. CEO got you twisted? Aubrey sipped her Cabernet. The warmth spreading. She's trying. But work's a jealous lover. Lena snorted. Always is. Remember my ex? The lawyer? Same story. You deserve sunsets. Not spreadsheets. Words landed heavy. Stirring resolve. Aubrey texted Addison later. From the walk home. Road trip? Clear heads. Your call. Reply came swift. California. My jet. Monday. The private flight whisked them west. Champagne flutes clinking over clouds. Addison looked lighter already. Blazer slung over seat. Legs stretched. San Francisco. Tech summit. But mostly us. Aubrey leaned head on her shoulder. Scent of citrus shampoo grounding. Perfect. They landed to fog-kissed hills. Renting a convertible for the drive down Highway 1. Wind whipped hair. Ocean crashing turquoise below cliffs. Seals barking from rocks. Addison drove. One hand on wheel. Other entwined with Aubrey's. Laughter free for the first time. Stops dotted the way, Big Sur's redwoods towering ancient. Picnics of avocado toast and local wine on checkered blankets. In Monterey. They wandered Cannery Row. Ghosts of Steinbeck lingering. Addison quoting passages softly. Her voice weaving magic. Nights blurred in cliffside inns. Fireplaces crackling. Bodies entwined under down comforters. Addison's touches turned reverent. Exploring freckles like constellations. Sighs punctuating each kiss. I could stay here forever, she murmured one dawn. Lips on Aubrey's navel. Drawing shivers. Aubrey threaded fingers through hair. Arching. Then do. But reality intruded midweek. A call from New York. Crisis, Addison said. Face clouding as she hung up. Investor pulling out. Need to fly back. Aubrey's stomach dropped. The oceans roar mocking. Now? Tomorrow? Stay? Finish the drive? She shook head. Packing with quiet fury. No. Together or not. The flight back was silent. Tension thick as turbulence. At LaGuardia. Addison's driver waited. But Aubrey hailed a cab. Call me when you're ready, she said. Door slamming. Home felt hollow. Plants wilting slightly. Mail piled. Aubrey dove deeper into the Harlem project. Tilling soil with volunteers. Laughter of kids planting seeds, a reminder of growth's patience. Yet nights brought tears. Pillow damp. Addison's scent fading from sheets. 2 weeks passed. Radio silence broken by a delivery, flowers. Lilies and orchids. Note simple. Ready. Dinner. My place. 8. Aubrey's hand shook untying ribbon. Hope warring caution. She dressed carefully. Emerald dress hugging curves. Hair loose. The penthouse door opened to Addison. Changed. Casual in jeans and sweater. Eyes vulnerable. You came, Addison breathed. Pulling her in. Kiss soft. Lingering. Dinner waited. Candles flickering over seared scallops and greens. Wine decanted. They ate slow. Conversation tentative then flowing. Addison sharing boardroom wins. Delegation's freedom. I hired a COO, she said. Fork pausing. Stepping back. For us. Aubrey's breath caught. Tears pricking. Really? Addison nodded. Rising to kneel. Not with ring but with words. I love you. Messy. Overtime and all. Marry this life with me. Laughter bubbled through tears. Aubrey pulling her up. Kiss ceiling. Yes. God. Yes. They made love on the rug before the fireplace. Urgent then tender. Bodies speaking vows. Addison's hands mapped devotion. Mouth worshipping. Drawing gasps that built to symphony. Climax shared. They collapsed. Hearts pounding unison. After. Wrapped in throw. Addison traced Aubrey's palm. No more hiding. Promise, Aubrey echoed. Peace settling. But peace tested soon. A tabloid whisper surfaced. Blurry photo from the summit. Speculation swirling. Board murmured. Investors eyed warily. Addison faced it head-on. Press release bold, proud to share my life with Aubrey Ellis. Love fuels innovation. Backlash came. Whispers in halls. But support swelled. Allies emerging. Aubrey's wellness program boomed. Now branded with their story. Authenticity magnet. One evening. In the penthouse kitchen. Aubrey chopped veggies. Addison at her side. Sleeves rolled. Learning knife skills with comical focus. Laughter filled space. Sighs of contentment punctuating. You taste, Aubrey said. Spooning sauce. Addison leaning for bite. Eyes locking playful. Divine, Addison murmured. Kissing chin. Heat simmered again. Slow burn. Bodies pressing counter. Hands wandering. They moved to bedroom unhurried. Exploring with leisure. Touches eliciting moans soft and deep. Addison's tongue traced spine. Fingers curling inside. Aubrey's cries muffled in pillows. Release rippling long. Spent. They lay. Addison's head on Aubrey's chest. Heartbeat lullaby. This is home, she whispered. Aubrey kissed crown. Ours. Months wove forward. Seasons shifting. Spring brought the Harlem garden blooming. Kids harvesting first greens. Addison there in jeans. Dirt smudged. Grinning as Aubrey taught planting. Summer saw road trips. Lazy drives through Appalachia. Picnics under stars. Love-making intent to cricket song. Fall returned them to rhythm. Balanced now. Addison's hours capped. Aubrey's practice thriving. They hosted dinners. Friends toasting their union. Stories shared over wine. Yet depth lingered. Emotions ebbing flowing. One night. Storm raging. Addison woke sweating. Nightmare of loss gripping. Aubrey held. Rocking gentle. Here, she soothed. Kisses chasing shadows. Addison clung. Tears hot. Afraid I'll break us. Never, Aubrey vowed. Making love slow. Reaffirming with body and word. Winter blanketed city white. Their first holiday together. Tree twinkling in penthouse. Lights reflecting eyes. Gifts unwrapped, cookbook for Addison. Signed first edition for Aubrey. Then, in glow, Addison knelt again. This time with ring. Sapphire matching eyes. Marry me proper? Aubrey's yes dissolved in kiss. Heat rising inevitable. Bodies joining on fur rug. Passion fierce. Sighs mingling snow soft. Life unfolded. Not perfect but profound. Heat contained yet ever burning. A fire tended with care. The wedding planning wove through spring. A small affair in the Hudson Valley. Orchards blooming pink. Aubrey chose a lace gown simple. Flowing. Addison in tailored white. Eyes shining unshed tears as vows exchanged under arbor. Friends witnessing. Lena officiating with grin. I promise to nourish. To listen. To love through overtime and ease, Aubrey said. Voice steady. Hand in Addison's warm. And I to balance. To cherish. To build our world brick by tender brick, Addison replied. Ring sliding home. Gold band edged with intertwined vines. Kiss sealed. Cheers erupted. Reception under tents with farm tables groaning harvest feasts. Aubrey's recipe centerpiece. Dances swirled late. Addison pulling Aubrey close. Cheek to cheek. World fading. Honeymoon whisked them to Tuscany. Rolling hills gold. Villas stone warm. Days lazy. Wine tastings and truffle hunts. Nights on terraces. Stars canopy. Bodies entwining under sheets gauzy. Addison's fingers learned new languages on skin. Eliciting gasps that echoed olive groves. Climaxes shared in whispers of forever. Back home. Life deepened roots. Addison's company pivoted sustainable. Aubrey consulting board wide. Their synergy sparking change. Challenges came. A quarter dip testing resolve. Late nights returning but shared now. Aubrey's head on desk beside. Coffee steaming tandem. One such night. Office quiet. Addison rubbed eyes weary. Doubt creeps. Am I enough? Aubrey rose. Perching desk edge. Hand cupping cheek. More. Always. Kiss started soft. Deepening hunger. Addison pulling her astride. Skirt hiking. Hands roaming. They made love there. Desk creaking rhythm. Moans hushed yet fervent. Release crashing waves. After. Curled in chair. Addison sighed content. You ground me. And you ignite, Aubrey murmured. Peace profound. Summer brought surprise. A positive test. Aubrey's hand trembling on stick. They sat kitchen floor. Tiles cool. Tears joyful. Our family, Addison breathed. Foreheads touching. Pregnancy unfolded gentle. Aubrey's cravings met with Addison's midnight runs to delis. Belly rounding under palms reverent. Ultrasound showed tiny heartbeat. Flutters binding them tighter. Challenges wove in. Nausea mornings. Board pressures mounting. Addison stepped further back. Aubrey pausing clients for rest. Friends rallied. Lena stocking freezer with soups. Laughter lightening loads. Fall harvest saw the garden thriving. Aubrey waddling rows. Addison steadying. Picking pumpkins with kids who called them ants. One evening. Sunset painting skyfire. They sat bench. Hands linked over bump. Scared? Addison asked. Voice soft. Aubrey nodded. Breath hitching. Excited too. Like us? Unexpected bloom. Winter cradled birth. Hospital room bright. Cries piercing first light. Their daughter. Elena Grace. Tiny fists waving. Eyes blue like mother's. Hair auburn promise. Addison held first. Tears streaming. Aubrey watching love incarnate. Nights blurred feeds and diapers. Exhaustion shared. Addison's arms rocking colic away. Aubrey humming lullabies soft. Lovemaking paused. But intimacy bloomed different. Touches lingering baths. Kisses foreheads. Sighs gratitude. As Elena grew. Chubby cheeks grinning. Life layered richer. Walks in park. Stroller pushing tandem. Stories told of aunts and uncles. Lessons in kindness sown early. Years folded. Elena toddling then running. First words mama duel. Confusion sweet then clear. Family dinners messy. Laughter loud. Addison's tales of boardrooms tamed for tiny ears. Aubrey's recipes evolving kid-friendly. Yet depth persisted. Emotions tides. Anniversary 10th. Getaway Catskills. Cabin wood smoke scented. Elena with grandparents. Alone. They reclaimed fire. Hike to waterfall. Picnic stones. Then bed. Bodies familiar yet new. Touches rediscovering. Climaxes echoing woods. Still burns, Addison whispered after. Skin slick. Always will, Aubrey replied. Heart full. Challenges evolved. Elena's school anxieties. Company scandals weathered joint. Addison mentored young execs. Aubrey wrote book on holistic leadership. Their voices united. One crisp autumn. Elena age 8. Family trip Smoky Mountains. Trails winding mist. At Overlook. Vista vast. Addison knelt again. Not proposal but renewal. Vows again? For the roads ahead. Aubrey pulled her up. Kiss fierce. Every day. Night in lodge. Fire crackling. Elena asleep loft. They slipped balcony. Stars infinite. Hands wandered slow. Moon silvering skin. Joining quiet passion. Sighs carried breeze. Release starside. Life's tapestry wove on. Threads heat and heart. Overtime tamed to time cherished. Addison retired partial. Consulting selective. Aubrey centers blooming cities wide. Elena grew fierce. Kind. Legacy living. In quiet moments. Kitchen dawn coffee brewing. Addison's arm waist circling. Aubrey leaning back. They paused. Breathing synced. This, Addison said. Voice thick. The real empire. Aubrey turned. Kiss morning soft. Ours. Uncontainable. And in that. Humanistic echo lingered. Love not conquest but cultivation. Nourishing souls against entropy's pull. Leaving world fraction warmer. Deeper. For having been. Years later. Elena wed under same arbor. Valley blooming eternal. Parents watching. Hands clasped. Eyes meeting across vows. Heat undimmed. Story there's rippling outward. In every sigh. Every touch. The lesson hummed, fall boldly. Contain not the flame. Let it warm the dark.